on behalf of Hennessy Sports, we welcome you to the Napoleon Casino as we get set for a night of championship boxing to be held this Saturday at the Magna Center. It is being brought to you by Hennessy Sports, along with their great sponsors, Maxi Muscle, Liquid Caffeinated Water, Modeling Network, Sheffield United Football Club, and the Compass Group. We would at this time like to thank the Napoleon Casino, the host of today's press conference, and also a big thanks to the Sheffield Star newspaper, our media partner. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a reminder that this Saturday the doors will open at 5 p.m. Our first fight will begin at 5:30 p.m. And it will also be televised live on Channel 5 beginning at 8 p.m. But we encourage those of you in the area to join us at the Magnus Center. You can purchase your tickets through the Hennessy Sports box office, ticket line, or through Ticketmaster. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a tremendous night of boxing action in store for you this Saturday night. And in addition to a great main event with two undefeated fighters squaring off, we have a undercard that will be showcasing such fighters as undefeated middleweight sensation Chris Eubank Jr. and undefeated world youth heavyweight champion Hughie Fury. Our main event, it is scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing, and it will be for the vacant British Super Bantamweight Championship. At this time, I would like to introduce to you one of the participants joining us here this afternoon. He is undefeated with 14 wins. 7 of his 14 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the reigning WBC International Super Bantamweight Champion, Kid Galahad. And Kid is joined by his trainer, Dominic Ingle of Ingle's Gym. And his opponent this Saturday night, not with us here this afternoon. He's undefeated with 16 wins, 5 come by way of knockout. He hails from Liverpool, and his name is James Jazza Dickens. And here representing James, the manager of James Dickens.
Are you fighting then? Or is James Dickens fighting?
I've just got to try and get a few pounds off and I'll be all right.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mick Hennessy, unable to be here today, so representing Hennessy Sports, and now to say a few words, we welcome Mr. John Ingle.
Well, I'd like to start off by putting the microphone to Steve Wood and explaining why he's #1 prospect and the future of British boxing. Jazza Dickens isn't here, so everybody knows where we are before we start.
We've made it over there. We've come the same route as Jazza. Unfortunately, the car with Paul Stevenson, his trainer, and Jazza in it has broke down on the moors. So we can't even get a signal to find out if they're on the way. They might be here in 2 minutes, or they might be waiting for the aid. So unfortunately, he's not here yet. He might be, but if not, I'll answer any questions on his behalf.
I know where we are with that one. This fight, I mean, it is a shame that Jazza's not here. We just hope that he is there on Saturday night and he doesn't let go.
Don't worry about that.
Not showed up for anything yet. But it's a good fight. It's a 50-50 fight. This fight was made 12 months ago for the English title. We withdrew Barry. We thought it was all risk and no reward, but now 12 months later it's all reward and no risk. So things have changed over the 12 months. I think Jazza's plateaued. Barry, kids in the gym will say, like over the last 12 months, he's improved beyond doubt. He's been sparring the likes of Scott Quigg, Ricky Burns, Mendez, the IBF super featherweight champion, and I think Barry is a different fighter from 12 months ago, whereas Jazza Dickens is exactly the same fighter as he was 12 months ago. He was a handful then. Will it be an handful for Barry now? I don't think so. People have got it down as a 50-50 fight, but come Saturday night we'll find out who the real deal is. It's an unusual situation that both Barry and Jazza have been nominated for the Young Boxer of the Year by the sports writers, and that they're taking on each other, both unbeaten fighters. There's not a lot of guys that would fight each other at this level of British title. They might hang on for a European or a world like Scott Quigg and Cole Frampton. They talk about fighting, but these guys talking about fighting and they're actually doing it. So hopefully Jazza's there on Saturday night. I'll hand it over to Barry to say a few words.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for turning up. It's what can I say? Loads of people have turned up, and I appreciate that. I'm sorry Jazza Dickens couldn't turn up. And Saturday night, I will be the British champion. I'll turn up. I don't know if he'll turn up. Hopefully he does. And it's going to be a tremendous performance.
Kid Galahad.
It's always a bit disappointing when the opponents don't turn up. It is a great fight. Jazza can fight. He's a tough kid. He's a Scouser. Obviously his manager turned up and his sponsor in good faith hoping that he turned up. But things do happen. I mean, it does sound a bit dodgy that they broke down on the motorway. But at the end of the day, some fighters prepare in different ways. They don't like to leave home. They like to be within their comfort zone. And it can't be much of a pleasure for Jazza to come to Sheffield and have to face one of the top super bantams in the country. But unfortunately, that's how it is. And Steve Wood's done a great job getting Jazza up there, got him the English champion. And we said all along, they could have boxed each other for the English title, but people wouldn't have given it too much thought. Jazza's probably getting 3 or 4 times as much for this fight. Barry's definitely getting a good payday, and it's the right move. Jazza's unbeaten, Barry's unbeaten. And like I say, I've no doubt whatsoever he's going to turn up on Saturday night. So don't be cashing your tickets back in at the box office. It will be a good fight. Jazza's going to bring a load of fans over. Hopefully there's not going to be any trouble, and it's going to be a decent affair. It's going to be a good scrap, and whoever comes out on top comes out on top. I've got a good feeling it's going to be Barry. I think most people have, but never doubt the underdog. Jazza can fight. He'll come for a fight. We've seen him in action plenty of times. There's a lot of people behind him, and there's a lot of people's hopes are behind him from Liverpool. So don't think by him not turning up today, he's not going to turn up on Saturday. Steve Wood will be probably around at his house tonight, finding out where he is and dragging him over to Sheffield. That's the kind of guy he is. So hopefully Jazza's going to turn up. We're going to have a cracking night on Saturday.
Jazza hasn't turned up because he's saying he's stuck on the, what was it, Snake Pass? M62.
How do you know if you
Well, I hope on Saturday night he didn't come up with some excuses after I beat him. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, I'll give you all some advice. Jazza's 2-1. That's the best bet you'll ever get all year. So jump on that. And and I'm just saying to you, the bookies don't often get it. The bookies very rarely get it wrong, but they made a big mistake here. And even we don't know which Barry's going to turn up, whether it's going to be the runner or the big runner. Now, if it's just the runner, he'll get a knockout as well. So we'll all earn a bit more money. So don't worry, Jazza's coming here on Saturday.
All I'm saying to you is that Jazza can't beat me nowhere in that ring. If he wants to stand there and have a fight, I'll stand there and have a fight with him. If he wants to try and outbox me, he can try and outbox me. But all I'm saying to you, on that night, I'm guaranteed he's going to get sparked out. Steve knows he's getting knocked out.
Well, I managed Josh Warrington, who's beat Barry twice in the amateurs, and he says he's a bit of a powder puncher, so I can't see him knocking Jazza out. But we'll find out. And the bottom line here is these are 2 very good kids. They're both undefeated, but the truth is they've not really fought anyone at a high level yet. So we'll find out on Saturday night who's the real deal.
He has been known as a bit of a liability throughout his career, but we've done 2 tests on Barry of late, and we've done the paper bag test where we put him in a paper bag, and he's managed to punch his way out of that. And we did a rice pudding test, and he could knock the skin off that as well. So we think his power's improved drastically. And all he's got to do is on Saturday night is put that kind of power onto Jazza. And I'm sure if he could pass them 2 tests, he shouldn't have any problems dealing with Jazza Dickens. Right, what we're going to do now we're going to have one of them rap downs where they get in front here, Barry's going to do his, and Steve's going to do his, and they're going to rap it down and see who comes out on top. And if Barry can manage to do Steve, that's another good indication that we're going to win on Saturday night.
Questions from the media?
Yes, please. I'm a bit confused. How do you know they've broken down on the moors if there's no signal? I'm sorry, I'm not being funny. I just want...
No, I've had a text telling me they're broken down on the moors, and I've been ringing back, and there's no signal to get through to them.
And the check's in the post. Are you 100% convinced that is the case?
Well, I've got to believe him. I couldn't tell you 100%, but that's what I've been told, and I believe him, yeah.
Blame it on the network.
Yeah. O2.
Somebody said it was Tesco Mobile.
Any other questions?
Steve. Jazza's a good boxer, and you're saying to me that basically you think he's going to knock Barry out, right? When you look at his look at their record, right? Barry's boxed better people than Jazza himself, but at the end of the day, they both got the kind of almost the same enough record. What I'm saying to you is, can you really put your hand on your heart and say that basically Jazza's going to spark him out?
I'm confident if he does stand and have a fight, like he said he was going to do, that he will do. But I don't think he'll stand and have a fight with him, certainly when he feels his first power, because he's a big puncher, Jazza. His record doesn't show it, and mainly because he's been boxing journeymen who don't want to have a fight. So we'll find out on Saturday, as I said before. But yeah, I'm confident, very confident.
I must say Steve is confident, because when we withdrew Barry last year from the English title fight, the stick that we got off him saying, what's up, is he scared, is he this, is he that? You know, like he's confident 100%, he's not ducking and diving and can we do this and can we do that? You know, like he's wanted the fight, and Jazza's wanted the fight from 12 months, but we didn't think it was a big enough fight for where the lads were in their careers, but you know, like it's live on Channel 5 now, you know, I've got a good crowd at Magna, and the fight has got all the makings of a thriller and a classic. We just hope that it lives up to everybody's expectations.
Dominic, how's the training process gone with Barry? And plus, you've known Barry a long time. Have you done anything different than you do for any other fight? Because this is a big one for him. This is his first major title other than the WBC, what he's already won.
One of Barry's best attributes is that he never goes out of shape in between fights. I mean, probably in the last 12 months he hasn't had that many fights, but he's always on his training. He's always around sparring people. Like I say, he's been up to spar Ricky Burns in Scotland, did a week up there. You know, he's sparred some decent kids, but you know, he's more focused. Obviously it's a British title fight. We've done little things, minor alterations, minor differences, but you know, the way he trains anyway, the way he fights, he's been in the gym for nearly 10 years. You know, and he started off as a young lad at 14, and when Junior Witter was a world champion, he used to spar with him. He sparred with Kelbrook. You know, the kids in the game who he spars with, they know he's a decent talent. He sparred Rendell Monroe, all these guys. You know, he sparred bigger kids, smaller kids, everybody. So, you know, he's done his apprenticeship. He's been around the country sparring everybody, which has, you know, James Dickens, even Jazz has been over to the gym and sparred. He sparred a few of our lads. So you get a good idea, but you can never work anything out on, you know, how sparring goes. On the night of a fight, when the adrenaline's going, anything can happen. But, you know, Barry's done everything right. He's done his weight right. He's done his fitness right. He's done his sparring, his technique, his diet, everything. And like he's here today, he's drinking his water, he's eating food. And, you know, Jazza's well documented he's not good at making the weight. He's probably wringing himself out in a sweatshop somewhere in Liverpool. And that's generally what they do. What happens is with fighters, and I know because I've been in the business, when fighters are struggling to make the weight, the last place they want to leave is home. They want to stay in the comfort zone where they're familiar. They don't want to be coming to Sheffield 2 days before a fight, being in unfamiliar circumstances, thinking, can I find a sauna or somewhere to get this weight off, or if somebody sees me running around the block, I'm struggling to make the weight. We know that Jazza's going to be struggling to make the weight. And after 6 or 7 rounds when he runs out of gas, that's when Barry's going to knock him out. So it doesn't matter whether Jazza comes to fight or stands with him, or like Steve says, you know, Barry's going to do what he's got to do. And when they get into that ring on a Saturday night, it's going to be a good fight while it lasts. But when you know you've done your job right, and you know as a trainer that your fighter's done the job right, you know what the outcome's going to be. And, you know, Jazza didn't turn up today for the press conference. He didn't turn up at his gym last week for some filming for Channel 5 and Sky wanted to film him. There's a boxer who's trying to make his name on the big world stage. It's no good getting to British title level and thinking I don't want to be on the cameras. How's he ever going to do a 24/7 in America if he ever gets his big chance? Boxing's not just about getting in the ring, it's dealing with the nerves and the anxiety of a big fight. And the thing is with Jazza, he's nervous, he's on edge, and having to walk into Barry's backyard in Sheffield, no matter how many fans he brings, Barry's going to walk out in his front door, walks into the venue, gets ready, he's ready to fight. Jazza's going to have to travel, be away from home. They're all going to be biting the nails down to the finger bones because they know what's coming. You can only get, but he's had 16 fights. It's time for him to fight somebody, and unfortunately, he's come across at a time when you've got a good kid in the division, which is Kid Galahad. So he's not done that much different. Barry, he's done everything what he normally does, a little bit more. He's trained on, he's been focused for the last 12 weeks. So he's gone from the last fight he had, boxer southpaw kid who'd never been stopped, done the distance with Rendell Monroe. Yeah, mate, might have been past his sell-by date. But he didn't last more than 3 or 4 rounds with Barry. So southpaw kid, we were preparing way back then for Jazza. And we've had a good look at Jazza, we've seen what his style is. And we've got everything that he's going to bring, Barry's going to counteract and get on top of him. So, that's the answer to your question, Rick.
Barry, Hatton Promotions put out a press release this morning with some quotes from Paul Stevenson saying that you've been sat in your bedroom typing schoolboy stuff on Twitter, slagging and trash talking your opponent. Did you? I haven't seen anything myself. And if so, what do you make of that assessment of the schoolboy aspect?
Who's Hatton Promotions? Who was it?
Hatton.
Who was it?
Oh, Paul Stevenson's quoted in.
Who's Paul Stevenson? Who was it? Who was it? Who was it? I don't know who it is. He's spending more time on Twitter than he's spending in the gym, and he's supposed to be his trainer. That's the only answer.
Barry, they say, and you can say on Steve, they're saying that basically Jazza's too big, he's strong and he can punch and this. At the end of the day, you're talking about, do you think you can take his power?
Rick, you know me. You know me, Rick. You know what I'm good at. He's shorter than me. He probably will be bigger than me when he gets in that ring. But that doesn't. For every advantage, there's always a disadvantage. That don't mean nothing. And when we get in that ring, him crashing that weight off, he's gonna feel it. I'll tell you that now. He's gonna feel it.
Jazz is 4 ounces above the weight today. I've been in the gym with him small. 4 ounces.
Should have come with you.
I'd be bringing them, but I come up with Steve.
But they didn't want to come.
What's he been in gym for this morning if he's only 4 ounces overweight? Why? What's he been doing? Having a laugh and a joke and playing cards? No, he's never been in gym, but I think last time Barry was in gym...
He met in the gym to travel up.
Is that right?
But then I come along with Steve.
I thought you told me this was sponsored, you're not the one who makes excuses for him.
I don't make excuses for no one. I won't be making excuses on Saturday either.
Anyone else?
Kid, what's it mean to you to be fighting for a British title?
A British title's a good title to fight for, but for me, personally, I think it's just another stepping stone to where I want to be, and that's to be a world champion. And after this, hopefully, I'm in line for the European title next, and hopefully I'll fight for that.
Any further questions from the media? Well, Kid will be available for one-on-one interviews. And we also want to remind you that we're going to be hosting the weigh-in tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Tony Curry Suite at Sheffield United Football Club. The weigh-in is open to the public. We hope to see you there. And I believe this concludes today's press conference. Any further comments from the panel?
Come on, Sidney, you've also got a good question, mate. Who's got a good question?
Not really. All I need to say is your guys have proven what you can do with your fight at the highest level, and if you believe in Barry, that says it all to me.
We get that back at Asian News, Rick. Sid says. Yeah?
Don't forget it, innit?
I'd like to know how many champions have the Ingles produced? That's what I want to know.
To be honest, Rick, let's finish this press conference, but
Like I say, forget about what we've done in the past. At the end of the day, it's going to what happens on the night. Anything can happen on the night. Like I say, Jazz is a good fighter. Hopefully, all we're concerned with that he turns up. Win or lose or whatever he does. It's an opportunity he can't afford to miss. You know, he's on terrestrial TV. It's going out to millions. If he beats Barry, him and Steve are going to be sat on a big pot of money. And that's what matters in this game. You've got to make the money and you need the exposure. And missing events like, you know, press conferences and filming for TV as a professional fighter is not good. It's not doing your career any good. And if he gets beat, it's going to be a lot harder for Steve to bring him back, because he'll get known as somebody who doesn't turn up for press conferences or wants to commit to the media commitments. And people have got to see who you are. And really, nobody knows, you know, who Jazza Dickens is. They know Barry because he's been on TV. And this could be a breaking moment for him. If he turns up on Saturday night and beats Barry in good style, you know, everybody's going to know who he is. But like I say, he's not turned up today. Hopefully he's going to turn up for the weigh-in, and hopefully he's going to turn up for the night of the fight.
I think I'll have to confess now where Jazza is.
Thank you, at least.
So they all know. Mick Hennessey's phoned him up, and he wants to sign the winner on. So we've gone to have a meet together.
I can't believe you've kept that from us, Steve, after all this time. Can't believe it.
Well, a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, tickets can be purchased through the Hennessy Sports box office, ticket line, or through Ticketmaster. We are hoping to see all of you this Saturday night at the Magna Center. Again, doors open at 5, first fight at 5:30, and we go live on Channel 5 beginning at 8 p.m. Well, thank you for coming out on behalf of Hennessy Sports. Have a great day. Please drive safely. Thank you.